Hey everyone, welcome back. How are all of you doing today? Let me fix my orientation. Can't seem to do that. Anyway, yeah, how's it going? Hope you're all excited for part two of our stream today. I am so sorry I could not run yesterday's stream, but hopefully we can build some exciting stuff today. So, anyone who's joining in today and who didn't attend the previous stream, let me give you a brief overview of what we're doing here today. Okay, so what you can see right here is a mock-up that we have, and we're building a tool for science communicators. So, I want to briefly introduce what science communicators do. They are obviously scientists or experts in education and science, and they try to educate the general masses about what the complex researches that are happening in different fields mean. So the science communicators in practically every field, in biology, in chemistry, particle physics, astronomy, because there's so much complex stuff out there that we all don't grasp. And often when you don't have proper science communication happen, that's when misinformation starts spreading. Like we saw so much of it around COVID, there was so much pseudoscience spreading around, and that's why it's so important to empower science communicators so that they can do their work properly. So the platform that we're building is basically a one-stop place where they being science communicators can find science communication materials. So how this would work is it would work obviously on the network effect, where everyone sort of comes in and posts the material that they have used, because often it's very hard to say you've read a research paper that's particularly hard and then you've given a talk on it, but there's no centralized system where you can upload that talk, or say you uploaded it on Instagram or on YouTube, but I just want to find everything in one place. So this is sort of a platform to allow people to do that. So share their scripts, share presentations, templates, video animations, so much stuff that goes around. So that's sort of what we would do. Of course, this is a very ambitious project and we won't be finishing all of it on stream. Last time we did very fundamental stuff and we built like the nav bar and stuff like that, but we're learning Next.js in the process. So today we will just take that a bit further, and instead of working on creating the UI today, let's try to work with database and connect our database with our Next.js app. So I hope you all are on board. And yes, again, if you did not attend the previous session, we created a GitHub repository, so you can just clone that project into your systems right now. The project link is on the GitHub announcement, on the Discord announcement that I made. But just in case you all didn't get that, here you go. I am putting it in the link. So take your time to clone the project as that you can be up to speed with us here. Okay. Another exciting thing to share, just a second. So once we're through with this, also please don't forget to register and check in for the event. The link can be found in the Discord announcement, also dropping it off in the comments right here. So off we go. Okay. All right. One thing about this project, this is an open source project. If you are interested in this whole concept, feel free to create new issues or open pull requests, and I'd be more than happy to maintain this project going on. There is actually a more full-fledged version of it that, like, it's not complete, but it's like a little bit more complete than our repository, but I worked on it a while back, and in this session, I actually wanted to go through making everything with all of you, which is why I'm not using that project. But if you all are interested, you can just put issues on that project as well. Yeah, if you have any questions right now before we begin, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Is there an internet issue that anybody else is facing? Because I do feel like my Wi-Fi is a little bit slower. So are any of you, are you all not able to understand what I am saying? All good. Okay. Glad to know that. Yes, you can go ahead and put your answer here, a question here, and I can answer it. And meanwhile, yeah, so today what I'm excited about is that we will, so if you all, does anybody here know Next.js well, or are they interested in Next.js? Um, just put that in the comments, and then I'll share the exciting stuff that we'll do today. I'm gonna assume that we will like to learn about Next.js because it's one of the leading React frameworks at this moment, and it's actually pretty powerful. So what we'll be following this documentation that Versal's given us to actually implement a bunch of stuff. So yeah, we're using Next.js, but then we'll use Prisma along with Postgres to help us connect to our database, and we will actually set up our Postgres database on Supabase. So we won't do it locally, and we'd actually use like a deployed version. Interesting question. Will it scrape data from other sources? So yes, that is the long-term picture of the project, where there are some open data repositories. So it's a place where you'd want to aggregate data that does exist out there. But at the same time, it also does rely a lot on the community coming together and sharing their resources. So it would be a mix of both things. Again, the designing for it and the the thought process for it is in a very nascent stage, if I may say. But yeah, when I think of like the bigger picture for this project, that does go around like scraping data from sources, verifying it, and then presenting it in a better, more organized way to people. There are, so for example, at CERN, they do have a data repository. But again, that's very limited to the people at CERN or what's happening at CERN, which is again a big place. But it's still not very efficient. The data loading is a bit slow and stuff like that. So we want to create something that's more powerful and that goes beyond particle physics, of course. Another quick thing is, if anybody joined the previous session, they would have remembered that I created a project. And here I mentioned that we want to create a GraphQL API for our server. But I thought about it a little bit more. And our project actually relies very heavily on data uploads and stuff like that. And of course, GraphQL itself is not the best, the architecture that GraphQL provides is not very friendly for file uploads, and multi-part uploads are actually not very secure. So I decided to not stick with GraphQL right now. Maybe later, if the project grows more, we can shift to a GraphQL API. But right now, we'd keep it simple with mostly using REST API, because I don't want to mix like two different kinds of APIs right now. I think it'll muddle up the project too much. Yeah, so with all of that sort of background setup there, I would like to start moving on with let's just follow this block together and see how that works. So you can access this if on Google you just type for like Next.js Prisma or Next.js Postgres, you're going to get this guide. So I went through this. I thought this is covering a lot of important and like basic stuff also. So even if you're not interested in the project, you're going to learn Next.js, right? Which is a good thing. Also talking about Prisma, it's actually an ORM, so it helps us to like model our data. That can be very important with SQL databases. So we're going to stick with this and make our lives a little bit easier. Okay. So we wouldn't really have to necessarily set up a server because we would use the database provided by Supabase, right? So here they're setting up a starter project, which we don't need because we have, but let us set up this stuff. We want to install Prisma, right? Also, we'll have to just make sure a lot of this stuff is not TypeScript, and everything we're doing is. So let's get started. So we just npm install Prisma, and we are using npm only. So we go into particle silo and this. Then we want to use the Prisma CLI to create a basic Prisma setup, right? Yep, do that. Then we will get a Prisma directory, and we'll get two files in it, which is the schema and the environment file. That's where we want to set up our Postgres database URL, which we will have to get. So let's go to Superbase and get one right now. Okay, it's a full guide in itself. All right. No, did they stop giving this? Really hope not. All right, so I can just create a new project here, particle silo. It's educational, and we create organization. Type in a strong password. I'm just going to use. Okay, maybe I should get our stream for this. I'm going to get our stream for this. Yeah, and we've given it a password. The region that I'm going to give it is Southeast Asia, because that's where I'm based. I'm actually based in East Asia, but yeah, we only have a Singapore server, so Southeast Asia. And we get a free project, and I'm going to create it. Okay, perfect. Then we want to go to database. Okay, sorry, I'm going to share back my screen. So we are on Superbase right now. This is the project. And these are obviously example projects that you can pick from, but let's go to database. Why wouldn't it let us go to database? Sorry, my internet is actually really slow today, so stuff is happening at a leisurely pace. So here we can see our Prisma project already exists now. So all we need to do is go to our environment file and just fix the connection string here to your own connection string that you will get from Supa. Yeah, so here we are. Let's say we go to database, but we want to go to database here, and just a second, right here. Yeah, so let's go to settings, and then their database, and this is our connection info. Yes, so we have connection string and everything, so we'll take that. It expects me to remember my password, but I didn't save my password. Okay. Just gonna take that and copy it here, and I'm going to quickly go and try to find my password for this. Give me a second. And meanwhile, let me know if you're following along and how that is going. Me trying to find my password. This is what happens when you don't pay attention. Okay. I mean, I'm sure it's all saved here somewhere. There we go. Hopefully, yes, and found the password. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to put that password into our environment file, and then I'm going to start my stream again. So we have our password saved here, and voila. Gotcha, you all can come back. Okay, so now we have we have the database string. We can actually test it, but yeah, that's in a Prisma project, right? So let's close this here. We will be testing it very soon. So we've gone through this. We've created a Prisma project, creating the database URL. So we've completed 2 steps already. Wow. Now it's time for us to create a database schema. So yeah, this is going to be fun. We'll have to think about what to put in our database as well. Exciting part, of course. So for this, I'm just going to just copy this right here, and I would just like to check something real quick. Prisma find TypeScript. Usually so many guides are like, yeah, they're more focused on plain JavaScript projects, which is it's okay. I guess we can. Okay, yes. Always great to look at code examples. Nothing beats it. REST, Next.js. That's it. That's the kind of example we would like to look at. And here, let's look at their Prisma. Okay, so this is still looking pretty much the same. So that's a good thing. Yeah, so here we can actually get a Prisma extension. That would be good. Yeah. I just don't like when my code does not have the right coloring. It gets so annoying to just look at code. Okay, so much prettier now and so much more clear what's going on. So we have our database here, and the URL it's using is our Superbase URL, and then this is our sort of model here, but it's actually pretty similar to what we'd want. We don't exactly want a post, so let's say that this is like media as an ID, title, content, published. We don't really need that. Author, yes we do. Author ID, we would need that. After that, we also would want things like tags. So there we go, like string. Tags would be like a list of strings. And what else could we use? Let's look at our upload page. Actually, we would get a better idea of what to. Okay, this is not the way we'd be doing like database modeling in real life. You'd actually spend maybe a week sitting creating your entity relationship diagrams, making sure it follows all the business needs that you have, and then you do this. But we're just hacking our way through, folks, so that's okay. Yeah, we'd want to say what audience it targets. So that would also be like a string array. What else? There is, we want to say what's the type, right? Again, so type would preferably be an enum. Let's see how to handle enums here, right? Okay, quickly we're going to go to the docs here, and let's say database connection. Just gonna search enum. They're going to have to tell us how to. Not supported by SQLite and Microsoft SQL Server. We're not using either, so that's all good. This is our enum example. Okay, so we just create an enum here, say media type, and in this type here we're going to say this is media type. Here now we want to say what's like the different kinds of things that we can have. So we're going to say text. No. Okay. It does want me to give it a value, does it not? No. What's your problem? Why not? Yeah, this is right. Okay, I'll just try to make it all caps. Okay. And oh, we don't need any commas. Sorry, my bad. So yes, we have text, audio, image, video, and then we could have slides. Yeah, for now it's this, and again we could always expand on this. It's just an enum that we have here. So yeah, this is a good starting point, and our author is obviously always going to be user, their ID, name, email, created at, updated at. All of this works for us, right? And we map the name to users. Okay, so we have a pretty okayish schema here. So let's go back to this. Let's just quickly see the map. Yeah. So all good. We are mapping this here for Next.js's benefit because we'd want to use users in Next.js. Okay, so we have two models, and now what we can do is we can just push our database because we have our schema that's ready. And let's just go here and say, okay, oh no, sorry, didn't copy properly. Okay, now there's an error, of course. Post is neither a built-in type. Oh, of course, I had to change this to media, and we should be good. Again an error. 37 media. Okay. Right. And our database is in sync with our Prisma schema. How beautiful is that? So we've already like sort of uploaded our schema here to our database, and we could just expand everything here, and once you've made the changes you could just push it again to the database. So we can actually run it and see it here. Prisma is really powerful when you're working with a lot of data. Can be really helpful to get things. So here you can see the model that you have, everything that we created, right? And here in type, we'd be able to like sort it based on what type value it has. Okay, moving forward, not going to waste too much time just gushing over this. We could actually add data, like create just new data through here, but don't want to do that. Now to access our database from Next.js, we'd actually have to use the Prisma client. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm just going to actually here just splitting the screen so we can keep track of both of this. Just wondering if you folks can see everything here, or if I need to just zoom in a bit. Okay, this is too much. I'm gonna zoom out. Is this? I think this is a little bit better than before. Okay, so we have our Prisma client, and now what we want to do is there's so much that it can automatically just do for us. We can just generate it from here. So yep, there we go. We can now start using Prisma client directly in our code. That is really helpful. So yeah, we can import it into our file. The instance is created in prisma.ts, which is inside the lib directory, which I cannot trace. Let's see where we can find that. Okay, Prisma schema loaded from here. It says that we should be able to see a file. Can't really do that though. Oh, I see. It expects us to make that repository. Fair game. Okay. So we create the lib directory, and inside lib, we want to create prisma.ts, right? I'm loving the fact that they're creating a TypeScript file here. All right. So here now you have our lib and prisma.ts, and now we add this code to this. Beautiful. Yeah, some type errors that we have, which we want to fix. We'll fix them soon. Let's see. Has no index signature. Gotcha. So here what we're doing is we're creating a Prisma client that we have connected Prisma to our database, but we need Next.js to be able to communicate to it as well. And for that, we need a client to access that. So we're just going to use the Prisma client to do it. But note that there are actually other ways of accessing your databases directly from Next.js without using Prisma. We use Prisma here because, like you saw, it sort of does a lot of like schema generation for us that makes our life a little bit easier, and we would love to do that, right? Okay, so now let's say we want to show data from the database, but before we can do that, I would now like to work a little bit on where we would do that, because let's open our project here real quick. Yeah, this is particle silo web and particle silo. Just going to build it real quick and then start this. Yes, so this is an error. What I will do most likely is I will just make the I'll make RTS config a little bit more lenient, because yeah, right now it'd be a little bit of pain to get into this. Okay, maybe what we can do is just look at the more recent documentation for Prisma and then get going from there, because it's possible that this article is a little bit older, and I mean, versions change, things break, stuff happens. Yeah, so we go from here. No, okay. Sending, move your data to schema, run migration, all good. Okay, so they did change things here. Yes, send Prisma client queries. Let's use this, right? Like I said, that was an older version. So now we have a Prisma client. We are going to use this now instead of what we have here, which also basically helped us create a new Prisma client. Now we're just handling it like this. All good. And we can hopefully build it without any errors. Not exactly. We're missing the key prop in the iterator, of course. And we're getting these errors because RTS configuration right now is very strictly typed. And it's always a good practice anyway to have your key prop when we're doing some kind of mapping. Always good. Okay, so we want a key to be, we want it to be something unique but also stable at the same time. So I'll just stick with the title because it's going to be unique in this context. So what a key lets you do is it lets React sort of know where what component changed and what didn't change. So in that way, it has to, when it creates its virtual DOM, it has to do less updates in general, because it's aware that, okay, this key did not change and only this key changed. When we don't have a key, then what React ends up doing is it actually changes everything, which makes the whole process take longer. No. Yes, okay. I have actually not changed my keys on my keyboard, so not very good with that right now. Okay. So that's about that. Let's try to build it again. Please let me know if you're following along or not. If you're not, I can actually push this code right now and you can pull it and just try to see if that runs for your system. Though disclaimer that you will just have to put your own environment file to make it work. So don't forget to do that. All right, so this is there, and I'm just going to start this. Alright, so this is where we were at when we last left this. So we maybe want to put something in the resources page to show up whatever we have, and then something in the upload page to allow us to upload things. Like I said before, right now we'll just keep this super simple. So let's create a new folder here. Let's call this resources, and inside of it we create index.tsx, export function. We will call this resources, and what we're doing is returning a div which is saying resources. And what am I missing here? Return type. But we did the same thing here. Didn't ask for return type then. Oh, sorry. I was so used to the const way of declaring that I completely messed up the syntax. Yeah, so here is our resources page, and similarly we can create a new file, new folder, and we can say this to be upload. Here I want to just go ahead and check upload and resources, what it's called, and new file index.tsx, and we would say for default function, and this is upload, and we just return a basic div saying upload. Okay, so having all of that out of our way, okay, I'm just going to get this mistake here. What I want to do is just create a dev running. Perfect. Okay, localhost 3000. So we can see this resources page. Right now, what you can see is nothing is global in our styling. And we, again, like I mentioned, we will not be focusing on fixing that today, because I think the database thing can be a bit more interesting. So anyway, one interesting thing, if you noticed about Next.js routes here, is that we didn't have to use any package, any library to do that. All you have to sort of do here is just, okay, let me take you to our code, which is the navbar. We just had to tell it to go to this particular route, and all we had to do was use a link and just put the link there. And how it knows where to go is in pages you actually create a file with the same name. So I am sure that there'd be a little bit more pages under resources, so there might be something like resources / delete, add, new, etc., view, which is why I created a folder here. So now if I want to do something like resources and then / put an ID of something and view it here, I can actually go ahead, create a new file, call it like ID this and tsx. So here then Next.js would know that the ID could be anything, and it should just expect it should navigate to this page, it should enter this page when the user wants to navigate to resources / some ID. So that's sort of the idea going in here. Yeah, so very convenient to use navigation this way. Um, Pretty much like good old days of navigating in HTML. It's so similar. Yeah, and it's quite different from React Router if you all are familiar with that. Okay, so spoken enough about this. Our intention of doing this was to just I'm just going to put some padding in here so that we can at least view our content in peace. And let's do this. Let's wrap this around. It's just easier for me to type this again here. I'm not very good with the keyboard, am I? Okay, so here we would now want to display whatever data we get from the database. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like and how to get ahead with doing that. Yes, so we would like to import Prisma first of all. Import Prisma. They imported Prisma. Okay. Let's see though. Have we even exported anything like? Yeah, we haven't really exported things here, so I would want to go back to our documentation and see how stuff is done there. Let's say I want to create a record, and this is going to get the records, but not exactly how we want to do this. Okay, I'm going to actually check the examples because I'm not confident in the way they have done this right now, if that makes sense. We're just going to look at, we're going to look at TypeScript examples, and I think we were doing this. This is REST Next.js API roots. So in the library, the Prisma file is actually pretty different from what we've done right now. Okay, and somehow that makes a bit more sense. So we have a Prisma client, we're exporting Prisma, and it's fixing the whole global unknown error problem that we had. So now if I go ahead and try to import Prisma, it lets me do that. Okay, so we are on page here. Coming back to this, now what we want to get is just, we want to make our feed, right? So these are static props in the sense that once you fetch them, it's not changing. So you want to get it all together when the page is being loaded, and when basically the user is navigating to it. So we can see that to make this more friendly, what we can do is just create a record here first. Let's see, nicer way of doing that. Okay, we have the Prisma Studio. I want to actually go to the user first, add a record there. So name, I'm just going to call it Vanya, and abc@gmail.com. Create it now. I want this to auto-generate itself. I want to do that. Okay, Prisma auto-generate UUID. Okay, so let's see if this was actually in place in our schema or not. Okay, it's using a CUID, which is also okay, but it just needs to generate it automatically. Not what we're looking for. Anyway, yeah, I guess that would be our, I'm just going to give it a ID here. I actually have no idea what a CUID is, so why don't we learn what that is? Okay. So these are actually collision resistant IDs. So maybe they're better than okay. Short random string with some collision busting measures, safe to use as HTML IDs and unique. Okay, that's pretty nice actually. So I'm going to let this be here. And we have saved our record, and now we have a user. So for the media, we can go ahead, create a thing that's called I can't think of anything. City. This is XYZ content. Here the user. Wow, this is really helpful for like simple normal adding of records, because we said that the author needs to be a user. It's actually showing us a list of all the users we have, and then we can say, yes, this is the user we want, and just add it here. That's beautiful actually, and it got like the author ID there. Really helpful. Okay, here I want to say that this tags is I want to give it like a physics tag. Audience is so for audience we'd like to create an enum in the future, but for now, we're just getting started. So we save this change, and it actually would generate an ID if I didn't give it one. So why don't I just remove this and save one change? And yes, it do that. No, didn't do that. Okay, so we might have to fix our user here. Why does it not default create a CUID? Never mind for now. Okay, so now we have one media and one user in a database, so we have something that we can fetch, right? So let's go back to this and add this in our static prop. So we go here in the resources and we say this. Yeah, and from Prisma we get the media where published is equal to 2, right? So that we don't need. We can get just like everything for now. Author, we want to include the author, so we tell it that, and that's about it. Quick fix and add import from next. Actually, this is probably from next types. So that's that. So the two things that this query actually had was creating like a where filter and an include. So for where you can actually put more conditions, like if you want to get content about a particular author or a particular type of content or a particular audience. So this will be helpful for us when we will be creating filters for the page. And here in the include author, it is just basically telling you that with the author, at least give us the name, because that's related to it right now. Okay, so that we can do later. So we will then, I'm just reading this. It says that their post page actually uses get server side props instead of get static props, because that data is dynamic and it's going to change, and it depends on the ID of the post that's requested in the URL. That's very true. We haven't reached there yet, so we'll get there in a moment. But this is important to remember. The difference between where to use get server side props and where to use get static props. Hey, no worries if you joined late. I am actually going to push the code that I've written so far. So if anybody's not been catching up, you can just, pull the code. For people who just joined in, one thing that you'd have to do by yourself is go to Supabase. Now that's something I've done. You can actually not do this as well. So I'll first tell you what I've done, then then quickly tell you the alternative as well. So you go to Supabase, you create a new project, you then go to settings, and then you go to database, and you just get your connection string for Postgres, because we're using, sorry, not this string, you will get this connection string for Postgres here. Yeah, another thing that you can do if you don't want to use Supabase is you can skip this and you can create a local database on your system, and you can use the connection string from that to give as the database URL. So when you clone this code, you will have everything. You won't have to worry about anything except the environment file, where you will have to add a field called database URL. Quickly showing you here, and then yeah. So with that, yeah, sorry, I sometimes lose my train of thought. Okay, hope you're able to get that. Just give me 2 minutes and I will be pushing the code, right? Okay, so now we have, where was I? Yes. So we have all of this. Yeah, we're talking about the differences of get server-side prop and static props. So for the feed that we have, like the resources page, it's actually doing the same thing again and again. Like there, it does not matter what ID we give it, or that content is every time will have to be fetched from the table, and then like no different parameters to give it, which is why we can use static props. But but we have to use server-side props when we know that the ID or some parameter is going to change, and we have to do different kind of fetching depending on it. Okay, so yeah, this let's give it a second. I just want to check first whether our resources page is working or not actually. So we have done this here. We have the feed, and right now it has the props, which is this feed. Let's give it here. All right, and need the type here, does it not? Sure, they are going to do a bit of that. No, they would have in the beginning actually. All right. Okay, just figuring this out in a minute. Okay, the problem is that we've not used it. Alright, that problem we fixed. It has implicitly any type. Well, I do agree with you, it does have any type. Okay, so we will go back to our old ways where we create an interface for it, which will be resources props, and there we go, feed, and let's learn how to get types from Prisma schema. Because I'm sure with like their whole thing, they must have a way for us to use it, right? We have the model. Yes. No. No, what you're looking for. Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading all your comments here real quickly. Yes, you can get started with local database, but if you feel like it's taking a while to start, just use Supabase. It's free, so we're not using the paid tier here, so you can just use that. .tsx is the equivalent of .jsx. So .js is .javascript, .ts is .typescript files. .jsx files means you can have HTML and JavaScript, and .tsx means you can have TypeScript and HTML. Hope that's clear. Yeah, it's TypeScript but not exactly the same. So there's a difference between .ts and .tsx files that you should remember and use the right file in the right place. Is there a delay? Maybe a little bit, because like I mentioned in the beginning, my Wi-Fi is not the best right now. So you might face a tiny bit of delay. But if you miss anything, feel free to drop a comment and I'll be happy to repeat it again. Yeah, so right now, recap, what I'm trying to find is how we can get the types of our Prisma models so that we can directly use it here. So here also it should be, so I want something to be, I want to be able to do something like this where I don't have to create the type for media again, because we've already done that here, right, in our schema. So that I want to see if there's a way to just get the TypeScript mapping automatically generated. Yeah, knowing how big of a project this is, I'll be shocked if that's not already made. Okay. Scalar type, section. Nope, not what we're looking for. Prisma data model to TypeScript. Yes. Let's see. Starting, understanding, relation building. Gotcha. Nope. No, not what we're looking for. This is the schema, migrating database, generating Prisma client, creating a user. Yes, this is what we want. According to it, this should just wow. Yes, it did get it right. I am thoroughly impressed. So we didn't have to do anything. We were just able to import the type directly from the Prisma client library where it had generated it because of the schema. So every time we change the schema, we just need to generate our types again, and then we'll be able to use them. This is beautiful. Just if anyone's joining right now, letting you know, I'm also working with Prisma for the first time, which is why there's so much like amazement with everything we do here. Okay, of course, callback's not here yet because we haven't written it. This, and for now, let's just return a div which has we'll have to give it a key here, so that can be media.id, and here we can just say media.title, and maybe actually making it more sophisticated, we can put media. I think this is why I love working with like types and like typed stuff, because it just helps you so much while you're coding, right? Like it tells you that this exists, it doesn't exist, and yeah, just as a developer, it's really a great tool to have with you. So this is sort of what we're expecting. This is the time of truth where we will check if our database connection actually works. So let's go there. Let's see what's up. Okay, we can see the title, we can see the description. We've not changed any types, but we can know for sure that our database is connected and it's working as expected. So our backend, which is not exactly there, like we just have a database connection. Yeah, we didn't have to set up a full-fledged server, just putting that out there. So yeah, nice to see that. I'm going to skip this post stuff for a bit and just push all of the beautiful changes that we've made so far here. We want to say web add Prisma and DB schema. Don't need to add the web anymore since we don't have a server in our system here. Prisma and this. And then we, oh no, I made a tiny mistake here. I forgot to change our branch. We cannot push to main. Okay. We will still check out directly from here to branch. Let's call it Prisma and git push origin Prisma. And there we go. Voila. So now you all can actually go and get the new code from here. I'll just compare and create a pull request. Prisma schema client. DB schema for media content and user. Create pages for resources and upload. So this is all the stuff that we did, and we will now create a pull request for this. I want to check if I can merge. We squash and merge, and brava. Beautiful. So actually we can go to our pull request. I said this last time also, the one that we closed right now, and just delete the branch. I forgot to delete it. We wouldn't really need it at this point, and we can always go ahead and restore it. And yeah, here you can see that we can add Prisma and the database schema. So please make sure to pull in the code, try to run it on your systems. Tell me if that works for you. If it doesn't work for you, what errors are you facing? And we can debug them together. Meanwhile, I will go ahead and take a 5-minute water break. And I'll see you all back really soon. I'm leaving the page here. And this is the link in case anybody wants to. Actually, I don't remember how to. Okay, I'm going to put a sticker banner sort of thing where you can see the. Okay, so wait, why can't you see the banner? See the banner now. Yeah, this is the repository that you want to clone, so just do git clone and then type this. All right, see you all super soon in literally just like 4 to 5 minutes. Bye bye. Hey all, I am back. And were you all able to clone the project and get it running? Just some comments here would sort of help about what's going on and yeah, how fast I should move on further. Because I do want all of you to follow and build along. Wouldn't be much fun if you all did. Yeah, so let me know, and I'll meanwhile start moving a bit further and see what we can do next. Okay, actually, I sort of like where this is going because we don't have an authentication system yet. So we can now learn how to use NextAuth along with GitHub's OAuth, and try to put that in our system so that we have a login or a sign up there. So the packages that we need to install are right here. Let's go ahead and add them up in our project. Yep, and paste this here. Off we go. Doing that. So it's actually making us add more models to it, and we're going to follow this because this is sort of the expected model type when you're using NextAuth or you're adding GitHub authentication with it, right? It's important to have a refresh token, access token, and note that we're using NextAuth and Google's OAuth here because, GitHub's OAuth here. Because we don't really want to reinvent the wheel by going through everything from scratch, building your own authentication, which won't even be as secure. Yeah, security is a big problem on the internet these days. So let's just add a few of these data models directly into our system. So we need to add model account and model of session. So we copy these. Then in the schema we add, actually I just put them on the top. Yeah, some data types are missing. Okay, so we will, okay, it's apparently not a data problem but a syntax problem. No, it's a data problem. We do have a user though. Okay, yeah. We will fix that once we add the relations in our user. So here we add two relations, which is accounts and session. So here we just do that. Sorry. So we have this set up and they've actually removed the mapping now. Also, another thing we want to add is the verification token, which also I will move with the session up here. Okay, so we got rid of these errors. Here, it's just this and this, and voila. So now we are able to create sessions, accounts. We will connect the account with the provider account ID, and we're also connecting account with the user, and this is the relationship between them, that the user ID here references to the ID of the account here, and if say the user gets deleted, we want to delete the account as well. So yeah, we're creating a cascade in the sense that everything that has a relation with each other, if one thing is deleted, delete everything that comes along with it. So keeps it super clean that way, your database. Yeah, we're all good there. So we can just adjust our schema by running db push, and we can then see our changes on the Prisma Studio. Yeah. We should be able to see them actually, and just refresh this. It is not. Maybe we need to do one more thing. Let's see. Maybe we will need to start our client here again. Okay. Yeah, so now here we can see all the models, account, media, session, user, and verification token. Now let's move on to the GitHub auth part of it. So because we're using GitHub authentication, again, remember there are a lot of different authentications we can use here. Yeah, but because this guide made specifically for GitHub, and I think for our application, GitHub would actually be a good way to get people to log in. Let's just keep using GitHub authentication. So yeah, let's do that. Let's come here, and yeah, so we want to actually do that for our organization. Come here, and then the settings, auth app, and now I will do my authentication. Give me a second. I don't know why I removed myself from stream. Anyway, so here I have my authenticator, and right, so we verify this, and alright, now what we would like to do is where did my GitHub go? Here, yes, developer settings and auth apps, and we would want to register an application. Application name is particle silo, and this is where I think the deployment will have to come into place, right? So yes, should be, let's say, the API route. That's not the problem. The problem is single URL, unlike auth-o, which allows you to add additional callback URLs separated by comma. This means if you want to deploy your app later of the production URL, you will need to set up a new. Okay, no problem. I think we might have something for particle silo in place that I can use as our homepage. Let me quickly check that out. Nope, what am I doing? Particle silo, just use this. From here, no. Oh, particle silo. Okay. Surprised that the deployed version is not here. Maybe it is here. No, it's not anywhere. Anyway, so all good there, no problems. I'll just use let's just use Prisma's URL since we don't have anything else to redirect it to. Yeah, we could always set up GitHub pages later. And oh, sorry, this is a weird. Did this tree? Yeah, that was like me putting in my two-factor authentication code. So what am I gonna do? I don't have a URL. That's pretty sad. Oh, I jumped here. Okay, this output silo. So we're using callback URL is localhost. No, wait, are we giving the /API/auth, and yeah, that would be about it. And we then register our application. We have our stuff here, and let's see what we need next. So now in the environment file, we should add these 3 fields. So yep. Just have this here. Let's get our ID. Just this. Client secret is something I will have to generate of my own, and yes, I'm going to add that in the client secret here, and the auth URL is perfect. Okay, so we have that gone through. Now let's create our okay, so now that we're adding authentication, we also want to sort of make sure that we check our our state constantly. So whether we are authorized to access pages or not is something we'll have to check. So say the resources page, you shouldn't technically be able to access it if you are not logged in. So let's go to the app.tsx and try to sort of wrap it there by creating a session provider and adding it here, and then wrapping it by the set session provider. So we have all of this in place. So we've done this. Now we actually go and create the login functionality. So we already actually have a page that says login and that links to login. So all we need to do now is sort of create a login page as well. And we can actually go through the code that's here, and some of the stuff we can take and incorporate in our project as well. All right, so what we want to see is, this is the feed, this is okay, all right, not what we want to do. All right, okay, so we so what we'd like to do is, when we have this page, sorry, where is our application? Oh, this is our application. So when we're here, when we open the page, right, the login or the sign up, they should only show up if we don't have a session that's active. So that's something that we would like to implement in our navbar. So that's sort of what's happening here. Let's just take this thing that's really important, and let's use the session that we have. They are using the next router, which we're not using because we're just able to link our pages without it for now. Let's use the session, just the session, and let's take it to our navbar and let's put it up here. All right, and the items we could just put them out of our function and then probably in a separate file. And we get this from, we get our use session. Yes. And yeah, we have that. Now I want to see, oh, by the way, one syntax thing here that's happening is we're wrapping, like unwrapping data to get just the session from it here. All right, so we take use session, and now I want to be able to use that somewhere here. Yeah, so we can just check if no session exists, then we show up these, right? So how do we incorporate that in the framework that we created, right? So actually, let's bring it back here so we can actually give it special caveats. And for now, we would probably like to make a new sort of field to this, where we might want to say that, okay, if this session, so this exists, like this does not always show up and this does show up, so show, and this will always be true, then show, or we can say hide, and this is false, and hide, and this is false. And here with hide, we will say that if session does not exist, if session exists, then it'll be like a double this. So if session exists, we hide it. If session doesn't exist, then we don't hide it. And similarly, just here. Okay. All right. I did the double thing here so that, to create a boolean out of it. Yeah. If I do just session, then it would not be a boolean anymore. All right. So for this whole thing, what we want to do is we want to say item.hide. Wait, let me. I sure have definitely used some prettier thing to make it. Yeah. So. Here we say item.hide is not, and then if it's the other way around, then just don't show anything. Right? Why are you? I'm just checking. Why would it not let me create the most basic? I don't actually need to do our ternary operation. I could just do. Okay. Why does it expect me to put a comma there? Alright, I put it next to the right thing. I did certainly do that. Really strange how this would not let me do this. Okay, it's expecting HTML development, but even when I did give it something. Oh, I am really stupid. This is definitely not a clean way of doing it, and I just remembered a cleaner way of doing this. So I just want to get rid of all the changes we made here, come back to our original thing. Yeah, so this was our original thing. Here we want to just put our filter and then create a map on top of it. So I dot hide well, we want it to be false. Yeah, so actually we could just say so, yeah, and this should hopefully work. Let's now go to our local host and see how that is going. Right now it shows everything, which is not really a test of our functionality. We'll get to know once a session exists. So moving on from that, actually for the resources and upload, we wouldn't want to show it if we wouldn't want to show it if the session does exist, right? So these will also change, and we can then test if our session thing is working as expected. Yeah. So yeah, right now we are not in session, and the only thing you can see is the login and sign up. And once we will have a session, you will not be able to see login and sign up, and you can see resources and upload. Exactly where we want this thing to be going. So we can validate all of this, and now we want to create our authentication pages, right? So okay, so then the login and the sign up, the routes that I have put are probably not in the right place. So I want to link it to, for login, I want to link it to API/auth/ sign in, and API/auth/sign up. Okay, and just call it sign in to be consistent. Yeah, so pretty much that, where we should all be fine from that. And now what we want to do is we want to go to API, we want to create a new folder, and we call it auth, and inside auth we want to create a new file called signin.ts. So that's where it would, oh, actually not. Very interesting, this file name. Okay, so we will rename this and put it like this. So here then it will be able to redirect according to next auth. So yeah, that can be sign in or sign up, and just handles that here. So this is the boilerplate of the Prisma adapter. Just put that here, and this comments necessary. For the provider, we have these environment variables. Why would it be? Okay, I agree with them. This could be undefined. Okay, this is like a shortcut way of dealing with this problem almost right now. And I'm just going to import this now on my own. Yep. All right. So we have that, and let's see how this will go. So now this should, when we click on sign in, according to our app, it should now take us to the GitHub authentication page, which it does. Beautiful thing about using this here is we don't have to build a lot of this framework. I know we would want to update it in the future, have it like show custom stuff according to our page, but it's all customizable, of course, later down the road. So yeah, where we can authenticate it, and then it'll actually take us back to our app. Let's test how this goes. So I'm going to authorize our account, and it's asking us to try signing in with a different account actually. Let's see what email I got and what does it say. It says that it was actually authorized to access the account, which means that there is some error in how we have executed this here. So let's go ahead and try to see how we could fix it. If you're seeing an error and cannot be authenticated, stop the app and rerun it. Okay, that is literally the most developer advice I have ever heard. Couldn't do it, just go back and restart your server and everything will be fixed. So let's see. And here's something. It's compiled successfully. So let's open it. And I go to sign in GitHub. It's asking me to try signing in with a different account, which means it still didn't fix it. Let's read the error here. I am sure we will be able to find the cause of the problem here. Okay, so there was no image or email verified options, which means that the schema that we actually copied for account was a pretty old schema and it didn't know what to do with a lot of our stuff. So this is actually create user, so the user didn't have all of those fields, which means that the blog that we were following is a bit outdated, but we will fix that. I just want to check if I actually made an error here. I am really sorry about that. So you can just, I'll actually just go ahead and copy this whole thing instead of, and replace it with whatever we have so we don't face any other errors. And of course I will change the post field to be medium. Okay, so that was the error that we have. Still, to be on the safer side, we should restart npm run dev. And yeah, this time we're hoping that this would be the charm and it would actually start working. Okay, here's our sign in. Let's go back, refresh this whole thing, click on sign in with GitHub, and it's again telling us to sign in with a different account, which means there are more errors associated with it. Okay, so some data exists here already. Let's just go to Prisma Studio. Let's go to our users. Okay, just close it here. Discard changes wherever they've been made. It's actually not added any user here. Okay, so let's read this a bit more carefully. I'm going to increase this, and yeah, and time for me to charge back my laptop. Okay, so we are plugged back in and we are having problems with the Prisma adapter. Okay, there's a problem with finding a unique account. Get user by account. Did we tell it to do that? Not surely we didn't do that. Let's see. So we are trying to say that this prepared statement already exists, which I mean I understand because it has already sort of done it, but I can't see any of the tables here. Yeah, account. Nothing. Media. Yes. Session. Okay. Um, I'm going to go to our GitHub account, and what I'll try to do here is just like remove the third party that we have set up here, because I did get an email saying that I was able to connect it. So once I remove that, I think our sign up should, because I don't have multiple GitHub accounts and I'm not sitting here making more accounts. Yeah, so let me just go and remove that. Sessions, nope. Organizations, not really. Repositories. Applications. Authorized OAuth apps, and here is Superbase, particle silo, and just want to revoke it. I understand, and I revoke access. Alright, so now I have taken away access of our existing app, and now let's see if we can take it back. Alrighty. So restart, we try to sign in again. We're going to authorize particle silo. And it still gives us an error. What's happening here? No way. Okay. It still says the prepared statement already exists. You know what? I'm gonna try it one last time where I restart my server, revoke authorization of particle silo, and get started. Okay. No, not sneak login, and here. Understand, revoke access. Okay, here we start our again, and hope now it doesn't really say that this already exists. That would be a real pain. Okay, so yeah, now we try to sign in with GitHub. Really concerned about this. You are being redirected to the authorized application, but you're not. Okay. Okay. Now it's the time when I take this and I put this in Google and I ask it to solve this for me. But no, seriously, there's definitely an account that already exists somewhere, and it's not able to fetch it for us. I'm sure if any of you tried it locally, it might work for you. Yeah, so I'm just going to take the first error that I was getting and put it like I'm just going to save this after. Yep, okay, looks like we're not the only ones getting these errors. Okay. I'm trying to, okay, so there looks like there might be a problem with the Prisma schema that we have. So let's look at this and compare it with what worked better for people. So we have our account, we have our ID, user ID. I would like to open these side by side. So I'm just gonna take this onto my screen here and put it. Okay, so what it wants us to do is have an ID, a user ID, type provider, provider ID, provider account ID, refresh token, access, expires at, token type, scope, ID token, session state, created at. Okay, so we missed these tokens, created it, and but I don't think that would be a problem, since we do have created ad for our user. We don't. Again, it does not seem like a big deal here. For the session, we have ID, session token, user ID, expires, again created ad and stuff. Okay. Can you get map, add map for the user ID. What else? So our thing here says that if you look at the error, it's not able to find unique where email. Is it that our account does not have email on it, or our user does not have email on it? Who is supposed to have email and does not have it? Can account have email? I mean, it could, but doesn't seem to be a requirement. So verified, just adding a map here for email verified, that does not exist in place. Okay, so we're saying user this account find unique. Okay, another thing that I think maybe might be messing things up is the users, and how there's already a field here but it doesn't really match with what's out there. Yeah, so this, we're just going to refresh this. Also, a big mistake that I sort of remember making here is I've not pushed the Prisma database, and I didn't make a mistake there. So just pushing this database again, now there's a problem. Yeah, okay, here we can see that it's telling us that something. Okay, so basically there's a problem with just this, so we can just take this and search for it. All right, database URL, Prisma Studio. Okay, no media, no account here. Media is here. How about I just like go ahead and delete the media as well? Yeah, right, and just see prepared statement SO already exists. It's not going to solve a problem. This will not be. We were able to connect to our database, but there was a migration issue that is the problem. Okay, so let us see. After changes. Okay, let's see if the Redwood.js community can save us. Alright. Okay, it could be super base thing where it, yeah. I'm going to check if it maybe changed the correct connection URL for us. Coming here, connection pooling is enabled. So let's see what this says here. Okay. This is the connection string that I wanted to use. Just putting it out here, and it's the same thing, so it wouldn't really help us too much. Hey, no, and yes, like we're going to end this session in about 10-15 minutes trying to solve a problem here. But even if you just joined, you can actually pull in the code that we've written so far from this GitHub repository. So just go there, clone it, and you'll be pretty much up to date with what we're doing here. Right now I am trying to debug this error where our Prisma database push is not working because there are errors in the migration process, and the migration is not as straightforward as we'd like to think. Prisma clear database before migration. Okay. Don't feel like reading too much. Need some rewards. What kind of rewards are needed? Okay. Easy workflow to reset all data. No. Okay. When they say effortless, it better be effortless. All right. Okay, these are surprisingly not working. All right, so time to start fresh in our debugging hall. Sorry, I am not talking a lot right now. I'm trying to see if this could be the problem that we are facing. So PG bouncer, if we make it true, exactly, it should not be for migrations. So we should sort of find why that's happening, you know. Okay, so for now, just going to do that, see if that works. Though it doesn't work, help a lot of people, so Wait, I think it was just PG bouncer. Though I don't think that is a environment variable. I think that goes in the database URL. Hey, I am good. How are you doing? Currently trying to debug Prisma's migration. Surprisingly not working. Oh, okay. We have a similar Stack Overflow article here. Maybe this will help. Okay. So from the build trigger. Okay, we need the PG bouncer URL, which would be populated, but it doesn't get. Interesting to look at this. Not a very thorough understanding of how PG Bouncer works though. So that is something new to discover. Yeah, exactly what is PG Bouncer? Okay, it is a proxy. Cool. Okay. So, sorry, I'm going to remove this banner. I see a lot of you cannot see the screen because of that. Yeah, okay. Configure Prisma client with PG Launcher. Alright, okay, so we just do this here and right Postgres dashboard / database, and this of course can go away. And now let me try to restart my thing here and let's see how this goes. Oh, sorry, what we were trying to do was push db push. Of course, I mean, you all can go and try to debug this too. I think the code exists in GitHub, so you can just use that and try to do the same thing. Okay. I am still unsure about like the source of the problem, whether it has to do something with proxy or not. Okay. Oh yeah, it's pretty simple. This is exactly what we are facing. To check out with migration design to use a single connection to the database and does not support connection pooling with PG Bouncer. If you that oh, all right, maybe what I'm doing incorrectly is all right, and nope, I would want to get rid of this PG Bouncer, though I don't think this is the solution. And push continues to give us the error. This is for DigitalOcean, so doesn't help us with the Supabase. Okay, nope, not this one. Yeah, pretty much what we are using and facing. Yes, but no. Very cool. Manipulating to point an actual instance when microperforming. Okay, so if I disable connection pooling, then what does it do with our doesn't really. Oh, disable connection pooling and try to push to our it can't reach the database server at all if I disable pooling, which means I will have to keep it alive. And 6543 is here, yeah. Books. Let's go here. It's saving, it's still saving, so I should not try to run this. Anybody has better ideas about, you know, what this could be and how we could fix this? And I think I am running out of time and I have to give this stream away, but hoping to finish this before I leave. So yeah, let's see if this saves and if we can save us. But even if this doesn't work, we were able to get most of it in place. We have the database set up from which we can get our records, we can add records to it on the table, of course, and we'll be able to do that from the code too. And we were able to set up a GitHub authentication to some extent. There are some problems, but I'm sure we'll be able to figure them out super soon. Okay, so here it does exist again. No, it doesn't. Okay, it's telling me it failed to enable connection pooling for me, but it has. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the connection string, go away from stream here for a tiny second and put the connection string here. Want to put my password here before this. Okay, starting from here to here, and there we go. And now just copy paste the whole thing inside here. All right, we are back with that and trying to. It still says that it can't reach our server, and make sure that our server is actually running at the given which it technically is it not? Is mostly. How about I just, this is like a really bad way of doing this. What if I just delete these tables right here? Okay, field, because other objects depend on it. Okay, so if I try to delete this, then can't do that. So then if I try to delete this, I should be able to do that too. Oh, I can't do that, but I can drop it with Cascade. Yay. All I'm trying to do is like just clear up my database here and see if it lets me connect to it and add stuff here. Many of you might have like a fresh database at this point. You can try to run the code and see if it lets you push. For me right now, the database itself is disconnected, which is why this does not work. Yeah. Why our database would be disconnected though is extremely, yeah, this is our connection string. We have put that in and this should work. Pool mode session, let's try to just change the pool mode, and we've tried to push it and it's in sync somehow. Okay, beautiful. Love to see that. So now we have our tables and everything. Let's just run our server again and see if we can do this, and then we'll just end the stream here. Also I'll just remove auth from this. Yes, all right, perfect, we can do that. And here is our localhost server that is being started again. No, just give me localhost, not the whole thing. And voila, here we go. Compiled server, try to sign in with GitHub, authorize particle silo, and it has finally navigated us to the authenticated session. Now we can do more stuff here. But yeah, that would be today's session, folks. I am actually really proud of the work we've done here today. We were able to connect it to our database. We were able to set up Prisma schema. We also did our GitHub authentication setup, and that was 2 hours of stream. I am going to, now the last thing that I do is going to push the code, and then we can call this session. Okay, add GitHub authentication, and branch. I'm sure I'm on the right branch. Yes. And we just do that. Now you can all just pull in the code. I'll create a PR, and we've actually made good progress. And now if you want, you can always keep keep sending in pull requests to this project. I will try to do maybe one more stream, but not sure. But yeah, great stuff that we've done here today. Can't automatically merge, so this is our great opportunity to fix a merge conflict in here. So yeah, add GitHub here, let's just write integration with GitHub authentication, changing navbar based on authentication state, right? And we create this pull request, and now we get the opportunity to actually solve merge conflicts. So we go here, and actually, oh wow, this really hurts me. We ended up pushing our .environment file. I can't believe this. I did this. Okay, just adding this here, and okay, just say hit ignore, and what am I doing today? All right. Yes. Now when we go here, it actually still has the .env file, which is really just sad to see here. So this file, I can just delete it here. Yep. Don't want our environment files there. I did get ignored. It's not a problem. Now let's go back and see our merge conflicts. Okay, so package lock has problems, but no worries, we need all of this, so we will just take this, and this is, it has 3 conflicts. Okay, the next conflict here is pretty format. Yes, we will be adding that, and then let's go to our third conflict, and it's also a pretty format conflict. No worries. All right, and okay, so sorry, here we were able to solve all the conflicts, so we can just mark this as resolved. We would like to add next auth, so this is actually easier to do on VS Code, should have done that there. Here is where we want to keep stuff that's coming in from our Prisma, so I'm going to delete this and this. Then we want to keep again the Prisma stuff, so the account and the session, and as well as the media stuff. Yeah, so we are able to, I want here in my user to have email verified an image, which it does, and then we can mark this as all as that. Now, one simple thing left. We want to use the one with the filter, and yeah, there we are, fixing our merge conflicts. We commit our merge. This again, we could have done this on VS Code, but I just wanted to use this on GitHub, see how that went. And we just squash and merge this thing. Actually, one thing that wasn't super nice that I did here is I used the same branch that we created the add Prisma and DB schema on. So it's just double commits here. Not a great practice. Should have deleted the branch, pulled our new main in, checked out from there, and then worked. But yeah, just caution for next time. We delete that. Now, good practice for here would be to just go to main, pull our latest comments from there, and we will then come up with divergent branches, which is fair. Anyway, yeah, we have this stuff here. I've definitely done overtime now. Thank you so much to everyone for joining. Make sure to check this project out, add stuff here if you like it, just fork it from here, work on your own pace on it. If you care about science communication, it's a project I deeply really care about and would love to see some contributions too. So hope you all have a great time, and we'll see you all later. Bye bye.